Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news and Manchester United transfer news update show. And it seems like Manchester United have finally done something this summer. We're going to get into that in just a second. Our first done deal, it appears, this summer. Also, we're going to have a little bit of a rant about Basuma to Spurs. Lukaku, I wrote down Lukaku to Spurs in my notes. Lukaku leaving Chelsea after one season. That has got to be up there with worst ever Premier League transfer. Let me know in the chat or in the comments what you believe the worst ever Premier League transfer has been. We're going to be talking about the ins and outs of the news. We've got Dean Henderson news, we've got VITINHA news, we've got Timber news, we've got De Jong news, we've got Nkunku news, we've got Antony news, we've got Ericsson news, couple other stories about why we won't get Calvin Phillips, who's set to go to Man City, some news on Eric Bailly, what James Garner's future might hold, and all of that. But a really interesting thing that came out from Alex Crook, who goes on TalkSport, which I really liked the sound of this, and he is quite a good journalist. He's been getting a lot right. He said that strong sources in Portugal are suggesting that Man United are very keen on Porto's VITINHA, and United are considering activating VITINHA's 34 million release clause. But what Alex Crook goes on to say, which I really like, is that VITINHA will not be an alternative for Frenkie De Jong. VITINHA will be seen as an Nemanja Matic replacement, a defensive midfield signing, with De Jong seen as a Paul Pogba replacement. So it seems from a reliable journalist that Man United is set to replace Paul Pogba and Matic with De Jong and someone else, which is good. I've always said if you sign De Jong, you need to sign another midfielder. Now, I am going to get onto the De Jong. United delaying the deal. Is it worth spending all this time on Frenkie De Jong because Spurs have signed Basuma? You could sign Basuma, Lema, and Sangare for less than De Jong. What are we doing? What are we faffing around on? And all that. We will discuss that later in the show, but I want to get into the news, into the big news story that's come out today and come out of nowhere. And it was a bit of a Fabrizio Romano exclusive coming out that basically Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest appears to be a little bit of a done deal. So the first done deal could be Dean Henderson, in fact, leaving to Notts Forest for around 20 million loan to buy option, which is good because that means we're finally getting rid of someone, finally someone off the wage bill. It's disappointing that we're finally getting someone on loan. We can't seem to sell players. Flamengo will not pay us 10 million euros for Pereira. No one wants to pay the money for Wan-Bissaka. No one wants to pay the money for Bayer. No one wants to pay the money for Dean Henderson because of the stupid wages we give them. But Dean Henderson is set to go to Nottingham Forest on loan, and that is set to be a done deal. Fabrizio Romano said Nottingham Forest have opened talks with Manchester United to sign Dean Henderson on loan with an option to buy around £20 million. Negotiations are ongoing. It came out from Ollie Allen that Nottingham Forest have agreed a deal with Manchester United to sign Dean Henderson on loan. And then it came out later from Ollie Allen that Dean Henderson had agreed personal terms with Nottingham Forest and only paperwork left to be finalised, and that United are in talks with Nottingham Forest. So the first done deal seems to be Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest. He's leaving on loan with an option to buy, but it's a player out of the door, and it's the third player out the door. It's the first thing we've done this summer is get Dean Henderson out the door, which is a positive, whether you prefer Dean, whether you prefer De Gea, to actually get a done deal sort of out the way, even though it's a loan. I think it's just to get rid of a player off the wage bill. I think you can't have two first-team keepers in the squad. You need one first-team keeper and a backup squad as well. De Jong repeated the journal and said then no news is all. The thing about Frenkie De Jong is, and I will talk about Frenkie De Jong in just a second, but the Frenkie De Jong stuff is nothing's happening. Like, nothing's happening till it happens. And I know that sounds kind of crazy and people be like, what you want about Alice? But what I mean with Frenkie De Jong to Man United is every single day we get an update on Frenkie De Jong. Every single day, okay? And we have got an update on Frenkie De Jong today. What is new with Frenkie De Jong? In the last couple of weeks, so we were told 5 weeks ago, United are in for Frenkie De Jong. And then we were told 2 weeks ago, Barcelona have to sell De Jong. And we were told last week, De Jong has given the green light to join Man United. De Jong wants to join Man United. Brilliant. Bish, bash, bosh. All of that, yeah? But like every single day we get this story about Frenkie De Jong going, oh, the Frenkie De Jong deal's getting closer. The Frenkie De Jong deal's moving faster. The Frenkie De Jong deal's accelerating. Man United are seducing Frenkie De Jong every single day. And to those journalists, do not say it's getting closer. Do not say it's accelerating. Give us an update when there's an update. The update was De Jong's changed his mind and will be open to joining Man United. The update is De Jong wants to join United. Since we've been told De Jong wants to join Man United, there has not been an update on Frenkie De Jong to Man United. So instead of wasting your time saying it's getting closer, the deal's been getting closer for 5 weeks. For all we know, Frenkie De Jong could be done tomorrow. It could be done in 2 weeks, or it could never be done. I was 95% on Frenkie De Jong. I'm now 85% on Frenkie De Jong because we're taking our sweet time. But this is Man United taking their time. Forget what the other reports are saying. Man United are taking their time on Frenkie De Jong to see if they can save some money. United think if they drag this deal out, they can pay £5 million less for Frenkie De Jong. Because unfortunately, we're a club that think about how much money we can save, so that can go right into the Glazers' pockets because we've got the wrong type of owners at this club. And I will get into the Frenkie De Jong news, but the positive is VITINHA and Frenkie De Jong. The positive is Man United are hoping to make a move for 2 midfielders. So smash that like button, by the way, guys. Please do subscribe down below to the channel if you're new. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more, please do subscribe to Alice Talks Football. It's come out by very lots of reliable journalists that United's priority is midfield, and we aim to sign 2 midfielders by triggering VITINHA's £34 million release clause on top of Frenkie De Jong. Well, VITINHA would cost the same as Sangare. We have only been literally linked to Sangare, so if we're willing to go for VITINHA and De Jong, and VITINHA costs the same as Sangare, then maybe if we don't get VITINHA, we will go for someone like Sangare. I still think with VITINHA, it's his agent pushing for the move more than Manchester United, but United are enjoying the VITINHA links to maybe try and scare Barcelona into think that we found an alternative, because I don't see VITINHA as a Matic replacement. I did see him at Wolves, wasn't too impressed with him. I see him as a box-to-box player. I mean, have any of you guys in the chat watched VITINHA? Have any of you guys watched VITINHA play like a fair amount in the chat? If so, tell me a bit about him. Like, do you rate him? What kind of player he is? But I still see him as a box-to-box. I know he's been reported as a Matic replacement, but I do still see VITINHA as a box-to-box as well. People, this is not come out yet. People saying De Jong will stay at Barca. He could stay at Barca, but the only reason De Jong stays at Barca is if Man United F up the deal. We're going to go for 300 likes, so please do click that like button. And this De Jong news is getting me down. I'm so depressed with United. I am so depressed with United. Honestly, Manchester United, hurry up and get a done deal. I just cannot be bothered anymore with De Jong this, De Jong that, De Jong this, De Jong that. But if anyone knows a bit about VITINHA, let me know. I think Wolves did turn him down. But let me know if anyone here has really watched VITINHA and all of that as well. But I want to get into the news. I want to get into the transfer news. So let's dive right into that as well. So Bissouma has gone to Tottenham Hotspur for around £20 to £25 million. And as a United fan, it's really frustrating to see Tottenham get 3 signings done, to see Liverpool get a signing done, and Man City get 2 signings done when they've all finished above us. This is our biggest transfer window in years. This is our most important transfer window in years. We've got a new manager. We're off the back of our worst season in years, and we haven't seemed to have done anything. We spent 5 weeks faffing on De Jong. We've been linked to Ericsson. We've been linked to Timber. We've been linked to Anthony. We've now been linked to VITINHA. We've been linked to Nkunku here and there, but we haven't done anything. The only thing we've done, and we haven't even done it yet, is maybe Dean Henderson leaves. The first done deal was going to be Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest. But, we go, honestly, this, less than 2 weeks back on pre-season training. And, Ten Hag could go back to pre-season training when no one knew in the squad. Maybe Dean Henderson's gone, but no one knew. And United need to hurry up because Spurs are just not mucking about. 25 million or less for Bissouma, which is a fantastic deal. Now, I know there's some allegations of sexual assault behind Bissouma, and I have not read up on that, and I don't know what the situation is on that. So I can't give you any updates on that because I've not read up, and I don't know if he's been, because someone said he's been found not guilty, someone said he's still on bail, someone said he's been investigated. So I don't know what the situation is on that, and maybe that's why United have avoided Bissouma, because he's an absolutely brilliant player in a position that we need for 25 million to steal. And I don't know what's going on with the case. Has he been found guilty, not guilty? Has it been dropped? I don't know what's going on. I've not kept an eye on it, so it's not my place to comment. I don't know any of the facts or details, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I think the only reasonable excuse for United not to go to Bissouma is maybe to do with this court case, and maybe that's still ongoing. But some people are saying it's not even ongoing. But 25 million for Bissouma is an absolute steal. An absolute steal. I mean, unless something happens, but I don't know why we didn't even look at that and stuff. I'm going to assume it's the court case because he absolutely, Caicedo and Bissouma absolutely just dominated our midfield. McTominay and Fred did not stand a chance against Caicedo and Bissouma. It was absolutely mind-blowing as well. G's gone no-do FC, that's what we are. And I think United would have gone for Bissouma if it wasn't for the court case, and that's what I'm thinking as well. But everyone seems to be doing deals, but Man United as well. Alice, what's the update on Frenkie De Jong? The update is that there's generally no update. We've got to wait until there's an update. There could be an update tomorrow. There could be an update in a week. It's just getting closer, but nothing's happened yet other than he wants to come. Alex said probably too risky dealing with one player with legal issues, potentially having this. Yeah, I think maybe with the Greenwood situation as well. People saying Garner over VITINHA. Like someone put on Twitter today, and I can't remember who, saying there's no point in loaning out James Garner if we don't have a single 6 in the club, and they're right. For me, I think the best thing to do is give James Garner a Premier League loan in the system that he knows at Nottingham Forest. But that is so we sign 2 midfielders and we loan out Garner. You either sign 1 midfielder and you keep Garner and we see if he's ready or not, or you sign 2 midfielders and you loan out Garner. Now, what I do like about James Garner, and I've watched Nottingham Forest only about 5 or 6 games this season. I watched their playoff game against Sheffield United. I watched the game against Bournemouth, and then I've only ever really seen them in the FA Cup against Leicester, Arsenal, Liverpool. But James Garner, I've only watched 5 or 6 games, but James Garner really impressed me. And what I liked about James Garner in those Nottingham Forest games is his ability to move the ball quite quickly. You know, he moves forward. He's got a very good pass on him, and it's not like Paul Popper. It's not like Paul Popper at all, but the guy gets assists, the guy creates, he takes corners, he creates chances. You know, when they lost 1-0 to Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, you know, they could have arguably got a penalty, and that came from a really good James Garner pass, almost playing the attacker through. And I really like James Garner, the way he can move the ball quickly, but he's got a creative eye. He's got everything Scott McTominay lacks. He's got the defensive discipline. He can move the ball quickly and forward. You know, Scott McTominay hides behind players, doesn't really want the ball, takes his time on the ball, passes backwards or sideways. He's a player that will move the ball quickly, and he's a player that you can tell he's quite technically gifted. And I think he would really do well under Eric Ten Hag, and I think he's a player Eric Ten Hag can develop. However, for me, I think he's a player that would do brilliant on loan at Nottingham Forest for a year, playing in the Premier League week in, week out, in a system that benefits him, and in a system that he plays regularly and that he plays well in. And then we could see how he did in the Premier League. And for me, United need to replace Matic with a player, whether that's VITINHA. Personally, I would go for Sangare or Lemar, get Frenkie De Jong and then give Garner that loan. And then you can bring Garner back next season and maybe sell someone like Scott McTominay, who, for me, I just don't. He's 25. He's older than Frenkie De Jong. He's older than Donny van de Beek, Scott McTominay. He's not been good enough these last few years. You keep him as a bench player, you sell him. And maybe if Garner has a good Premier League loan, he's only 22. He can be that long-term Scott McTominay replacement, and we can edge him into the squad. But I think with Garner, if we sign 1 midfielder, you've got to keep Garner. I do not want to see a De Jong McTominay pivot. If De Jong gets injured, it's Fred in the pivot again. We cannot see that. I do really like Fred. I think Fred is a good player. I think he's been our best player under Rangnick. And I am a big fan of Fred. You guys know I like Fred. But Fred and McTominay together in that midfield is woeful. Caicedo and Basuma dominated us. And you know what? We missed out on Moises Caicedo, 1.5 years ago in January, 6 million. We missed out on him. Kamara, we could have got for 10 million in January, missed out on him. Kamara, we could have got for 3 this summer, missed out on him. Zakaria to Juventus, missed out on him. You know, Hedera, Rangnick wanted, didn't even try. So many midfielders we've missed out on. You know, even Basuma, 25 million to Spurs, we've missed out on him. We've missed out on a lot of midfielders. And I love Frenkie De Jong. I want Frenkie De Jong at United desperately. But if Lemar goes, if Sangare goes, if VITINHA goes, if all these midfielders go, what we're going to do? Go for Neves for 70 million and overpay for Neves because all our options are gone. And while I like De Jong, you know, and I want De Jong to come, and I'm certain De Jong will come, and I think De Jong's a brilliant signing, he's a world-class player. I don't like how we seem to be letting everyone else go and just focusing on De Jong. Nunez is gone. You know, I know that we probably weren't going to get him because of his price tag, but, you know, everyone seems to be going. You know, every single Basuma is gone, and it's just thinking, you know, United, you need to get this De Jong deal done soon because you're wasting an absolute crap load of time on it. It's absolutely doing my head in. Should have brought Paul Mitchell in. We're all sold a dream when we saw that picture of Rangnick and Paul Mitchell together. We're all sold a dream. And unfortunately, none of them will be involved. And that's why we haven't done anything. I think if Rangnick and Paul Mitchell were here, we would have just got to business. But you just don't know with the Glazers as well. Guys, please do smash that like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Like Rob says, please do subscribe. Andres Pereira will not have a place in Eric Ten Hag's squad. That is a fact. That has recently come out. And we're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. Let's push for 39,000 subscribers. So do subscribe if you know, if you're new. VITINHA to C-grade De Jong. I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of VITINHA. And unfortunately, this club has only been able to focus on one deal at a time for quite a while. You're absolutely spot on there, Andrew. Man United's biggest problem is we can't bring in 3 or 4 players in the space of 2 weeks like the other clubs can. We're miles behind Man City on the pitch, and that's because we're miles behind Man City off the pitch. Man City have got Julian Alvarez, Haaland. They're going to move for Calvin Phillips. We haven't made a move for anyone. And this is our rebuild. Man City have just won the league. They just spent 100 million on Jack Grealish last window, and they're going to sign 3 more players. We've signed no one. No one. And we came 6th. 35 points behind Man City, no one. It's an absolute disgrace, guys. It's an absolute disgrace. And if I go on and on about it, I will just infuriate myself. I want to get into the VITINHA news, though, because this seems to be an ongoing story, and it's come out from Alex Crook, who's a very good journalist. He's gone on TalkSport, and, you know, TalkSport, they talk a lot of shit. Someone on TalkSport was saying Gareth Southgate should be Man United manager. Can't remember who it was. I think it was Dammy from TalkSport said he'd take Gareth Southgate over Ten Hag. Gareth Southgate lost 4-0 to Hungary. Madness. But VITINHA, Alex Crook has said strong sources in Portugal suggesting Manchester United are very keen on Porto's Vitinha, and United are considering activating Vitinha's £34 million release clause. Record Portugal, the Portugal source said that Arsenal have got into a heated duel with Manchester United for the signing of FC Porto midfielder Vitinha, and both are prepared to pay his €40 million release clause. A third English club will be involved in a determined way to divert the player. Record Portugal also said this is a priority issue for Jorge Mendes, who's leading the talks for a move for the player, and Vitinha is not an alternative to Frenkie De Jong. Vitinha would be seen as an Nemanja Matic replacement, a defensive midfield signing with De Jong as a Paul Pogba replacement, and Vitinha as a Matic replacement. So it's come out that United are in for Vitinha. Now, there's a part of me that thinks there's Vitinha news to United as agent talks, and Vitinha's looking for a move, and you throw Man United in there, it could hurry up Arsenal, whoever's in for Vitinha. However, we are crying out for a midfielder. Jorge Mendes represents a lot of our players. There could be some interest in Vitinha. There could be the interest in Vitinha as fake to scare Barcelona. It could be that we are going for Vitinha and Frenkie De Jong, but I've never really seen Vitinha as a Matic replacement, as a DM. I look at Sangare as that Matic replacement, or Kone, not particularly Vitinha. But Sport Witness, and I'm going to quote something Sport Witness said on Vitinha, saying that Vitinha returned to Porto and very quickly worked his way into the team, becoming a regular at the club, and he won the Portuguese double with Porto, playing mainly as a central midfielder, but he did have a handful of games at defensive midfielder. And again, you know, people that have been watching Vitinha, people that have been watching Porto have said that he's not really played as a defensive midfielder. And while I like Alex Cook as a journalist, I don't think Vitinha is a Matic replacement whatsoever. I think he's another midfielder. I think you need to go for Sangare or a Kone or a Lemar. And Lemar isn't even a Matic replacement, but he could complement De Jong in the pivot. I don't think Vitinha works. I don't think it's the right kind of deal. I don't know enough about him to say it's a bad deal. It could be a really good deal, but he's, you know, he wasn't that good at Wolves. I know he's become very good this year. I know it's a decent price, but I don't know enough about Vitinha to say get him. I think he's a significant downgrade on Frenkie De Jong. I don't think he's a player who can play with Frenkie De Jong. I don't know if this is United trying to scare Barcelona with the Neves links and the Vitinha links, trying to convince Barcelona we're looking elsewhere for a midfielder, so Barcelona will lower the price so we can get Frenkie De Jong, or I don't know if he's in the plans. At the end of the day, the Vitinha links are very new. Is he in Ericsson plans or not? We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. Let me know how you feel on Vitinha. That is the news on Vitinha. Again, nothing new on Frenkie De Jong. Big up Rob for the super chat, if I can find it, saying I'm frustrated too with De Jong, with the De Jong talk. However, there was really anyone signed during the Nations break. De Jong hasn't said no. He said in two presses he can't say no news at all. You're absolutely right there. Thank you very much, Rob, for the super chat and the support on the channel. I think, you know, the De Jong, as you're right, the De Jong talk is very frustrating. You know, we haven't signed anyone, but you do make a good point. Not many people have been signed during the Nations League break. Not much has happened. I think the frustrating point is the people that are signing players are our direct rivals. And I think when our direct rivals are so much better than us already and they're signing players, I think that is the frustrating thing as well. Frenkie De Jong taking too long is frustrating. Would be easier if we got another deal or two done in the meantime. Absolutely spot on, Andrew, as well. Sign a CDM. I'm honestly with you on that. And a good chat here. David Lee says Gareth Solskjaer. You're absolutely spot on. I was going to put this on TikTok. Gareth Southgate didn't win a trophy. Ollie didn't win a trophy. Gareth Southgate got to a European semi-final and final. Ollie got to a European semi-final and final. Gareth Southgate and Ollie. Ollie came second, did good with Man United. Gareth Southgate got us to final, semi-final, did good with England. But they didn't beat any massive teams, England, did they? They got an easy draw. They got a bit of luck. They bottled the final and the semi-final they could have won. Also got battered 4-0. Ollie got battered 5-0. What can I say about Gareth Southgate and Ollie? They are the same. It is keep picking the same favourite players they can trust, i.e. Maguire. Although, to be fair to Southgate, Maguire is one of England's best centre-backs. He is good for England. But defensive, part the bus, counter-attack football. England and Man United under Ollie both relied on individual brilliance, both relied on defensive football, keeping a clean sheet, both picked the same players, even if they weren't in form, both negative, boring football. And what did they do? Didn't win a trophy. I've been Gareth Southgate out for years, despite the success in the Euros and the World Cup. For me, not for me. United getting rid of Henderson, we haven't brought anyone yet. Yeah, but we might need to sell to buy. I mean, it's not even a sell, it's a bloody loan as well. I wanted to keep Henderson, but a loan would make sense. However, 20 million seems low, considering Ramsdale was 30 million, and Ramsdale's crap for England. I am sorry. Ramsdale, and I will say this now, is one of the most overrated keepers in the Premier League. He is absolutely. Arsenal fans hyped him up for a few stunt saves. He's not that good, is he? United getting rid of Henderson. We haven't brought anyone yet. Madness. And James Garner is the future of Man United if handled properly. I know James Garner doesn't have long left on his contract, so United need to handle this properly because we could be losing a top player. And Man United is still not close to doing a deal for Frenkie De Jong. Yeah, that's been said today. I mean, what are we playing around at? What are we doing as well? Vitinha's not a CDM. Lol, De Jong is more likely a 6. I agree with you. I don't get why they're saying Vitinha and De Jong in the midfield. I don't see Vitinha as a 6. We've got 600 people watching, guys, so please do hit that like button. And, of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you're new to the channel and you have not seen my face before, I go live every single day on the Alice Talks Football channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates, and more. So as soon as there's a breaking news update, I'll be live. Daily videos on all the latest. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest on Anthony, Ericsson, and Cuckoo, De Jong, Danjuma, Timber, Vitinha, and all the ins and outs, make sure you're subscribed. The minute something happens, I'll be live. United are working on deals. We've got updates on who we're in for, who we're not in for, what we're doing. We've got updates on De Jong and Timber I'm about to discuss. But the minute there's a breaking news update, like a done deal, a deal agreed, a bid made, I'll also be live to let you guys know when that starts progressing. So do make sure you're subscribed as well. And in July, I'll be live doing watch-alongs for all the pre-season games as well. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Every like, every sub is really appreciated. We're 50 subscribers away from 38.4k. So keep clicking that subscribe button as well. I have a good hunch about the Frenkie De Jong situation will be resolved Friday or next Monday, just a hunch. Diego, I've been feeling like that for a while, but I've been feeling like for 2 weeks, but I hope you're right. And I feel like it's gone on for so long that it just has to be done any day now. They surely cannot drag out Frenkie De Jong any longer. We should sign Osimhen since we couldn't get Nunes. I'm a big fan of Osimhen. I would sign him, but Napoli played a lot for Osimhen. And if we want Osimhen, it'll be 100 million. We cannot afford Osimhen, but when we need 2 midfielders and a defender on top of them, an attacker as well. Maybe the scoreline in the England match would have been different if he played Rashford or Sancho. I'll tell you what, I do joke about Rashford and Sancho not getting picked. But Southgate's done nothing to help the confidence of Rashford and Sancho since the Euros, giving them no support. Foden, incredibly overrated. Saka, I like him, incredibly overrated. Bowen, good on form, was crap for England. Sancho, I tell you this now, and people will disagree with me, England's front three is Sancho, Sterling, and Kane. I do not care about it all. I do not care. Put Grealish in the midfield, not Mount. Mount's crap for England. Call Calvin Phillips, Rice behind. But Sancho, I know he's not been in the best form, but I will say this now, and I do not care. People call me deluded. Sancho is a better footballer than Foden and Saka. Sancho has more career goals and assists than Foden and Saka have starts for their club. You know, so I stick by that. And people call me deluded. Yes, Saka and Foden have had a better season. Yes, Saka's had a brilliant season. I will stick by this. Sancho is a better footballer than Saka and Foden, and we will see that next season under Eric Ten Hag. And I fully back Sancho. And he's been dropped from the England squad, but Maguire isn't. It's silly. But I will say, Gareth Southgate only picks one England player, and he's had his worst, one Man United player for England, and he's had his worst international break in ages. Whether you like Luke Shaw or not, England are a much better side with Luke Shaw in it. Maguire and Luke Shaw actually elevate that England side, whether you like it or not. Whether you like that, Maguire's been crap, Luke Shaw's been crap. England are a better team with Maguire and Luke Shaw. Not Man United aren't a better team with Maguire, but England are. Man United are a better team with Luke Shaw over Tellers, because when Luke Shaw's in form, he's a good left back. And people don't like Luke Shaw and people don't rate Luke Shaw. And I understand that. Look, he's been here 8 seasons. He's had 1.5 good seasons. But I rate Luke Shaw. And I believe... I've got a drink. Voice is gone. I believe next season we'll see a good Luke Shaw. I believe next season we'll see a good Sancho. Fernandes, Luke Shaw, and Sancho are 3 players that I believe are good players and will find form under Ten Hag. I think Fred will have a good season. I'm worried about De Gea next season. I'll tell you that now. I'm worried about Rashford, but it's a fresh start for Rashford and he's a confidence player. If he can get a goal or 2 in Rashford, he might be all right. But Sancho, Bruno, Luke Shaw, I think they'll be good under Ten Hag next season. People will disagree with me on that as well. So keep hitting those like buttons, keep subscribing down below if you're new. England could only beat San Marino, honestly, they can. And De Jong saying he's happy at the biggest club in the world. What does he say if he signs for United? I'm happy for the 3rd best club in the world. He said Ajax was the 2nd best club in the world. Sancho said he was happy at Dortmund. 2 weeks later, he signed for Man United. Do not overthink what he said at all as well. Do we really know how good Vitinha is? I haven't watched him play much. I don't particularly rate Vitinha as well. I've stopped following all the United fan base discussions. Better wait for Fabrizio updates. Some Fabrizio updates on Real News. I do agree. There's nothing super interesting coming out, but not just Fabrizio. David Ornstein, Laurie Whitwell, very good journalists. Keep an eye on Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, and Laurie Whitwell. They're the real updates. But there are some good journalists out there. You know, some of the British journalists, they do know their stuff. They do get stuff out there as well. You know, David Ornstein said we've made an offer for Ericsson. That could be a done deal soon. You know, United obviously just had Man United rejected Flamengo's 10.5 million offer for Andreas Pereira. And they're saying they have an offer worth more than for him, which is a weird one. United are rejecting Pereira's move. But what I will say about Vitinha is he's not a CDM and he's not a Matic replacement. And I don't quite understand that story. And Andreas Pereira is asked to leave Man United. Eric Ten Hag has told Andreas Pereira he is not wanted, but apparently United are reluctant to sell him for the fee that Flamengo can pay. And I think United are holding out for more money. Just get rid of Pereira. Whether we get 5 million or not is no use. Get rid of Pereira and buy De Jong. United do all these faffing about selling and buying players just to sort of save £5 million. All that £5 million is going to do is go into the Glazers' pocket. Absolutely infuriating. Now, talking of reliable journalists, Laurie Whitwell did come out and give us a Carbon Phillips update and said Carbon Phillips to United won't happen because of the Leeds rivalry and his loyalty to Leeds as well. I think Pereira will be good. I don't think he'll be here next season, but I don't think he could be much worse than Scott McTominay. I tell you that now. And Ronaldo said he was happy at Madrid and ended up at Juventus afterwards. Exactly. Sancho said he was happy at Dortmund and ended up at United. Frenkie De Jong's a respectful, nice guy. He's not going to say anything bad. Now, talking of Timber and De Jong, talking of the Dutch duo that reportedly Man United wanted to get done this week so they could do their medicals before the holiday. Well, they're off on holiday now, so well done United for faffing around on no Timber, no De Jong, no one. Not getting into a rant. But Romano said on the United stand the other day that both Pau Torres and Timber would love to join United. I sound like Nessa from Gavin and Stacey. But Timber would like to join United. What are we doing? If Timber wants to come, what are we doing? Ajax are only asking for 35 million. Timber wants to come. Eric Ten Hag wants him. Man United, what are you doing? That is my question to you. That is my question. Now, I will give you a De Jong update, but the De Jong update is basically pointless. Fabrizio Romano said this week will be very important for FC Barcelona to make a financial decision on Frenkie De Jong. Direct contacts continue between United and Barcelona. GB Sands, via managing Barca on Twitter, said that Frenkie De Jong's departure will not be ruled out even if members approve economic levers tomorrow. Barcelona need both financial solutions. So Romano is saying tomorrow is massive, but it's also been said it doesn't really matter. De Jong's got to go anyway, despite the financial situation. Simon Stone has confirmed De Jong goes on holiday today and he's relaxed about his future. Of course he's relaxed because Man United aren't doing anything. He probably doesn't think Man United will do anything for another 3 weeks. He can relax and not think about Man United because we do nothing as well. But it's also, but what I think about Frenkie De Jong, okay, and I'm going to be honest. There's stories about United being close to walking away from Frenkie De Jong and saying they're not going to pay and they're not going to do the Frenkie De Jong news. There's a lot of stories coming out today and in these last few days that United aren't going to do the Frenkie De Jong deal and they're going to walk away because they don't want to be mugged off. Now, Barcelona put the price up from 65 million to 75 million. That is a big gap when you think about it. I know only 10 million, but it is. And, you know, basically, all of a sudden, since United have been in talks, since Frenkie De Jong has given Man United the green light that he wants to join, which was a few days ago, and as soon as Man United have been in price talks with Barcelona, all of a sudden the interest has dropped in Frenkie De Jong. We did this just before we signed Bruno. We did this just before we signed Sancho. And we did this for the 6 weeks before we signed Maguire and still ended up paying 80 million for Maguire. When Man United want a player and when Man United spend weeks negotiating on a player, they will end up paying the price. Okay, they will. And they'll pay the price in two ways. A, not get him, or pay the price and do get him. But United know that they can save a bit of money on Frenkie De Jong because Barcelona are desperate for money. And United know that Barcelona know how desperate they are. So Barcelona can mug off us because they know how desperate we are for De Jong. But we can mug off Barcelona because we know how desperate they are for money. We either are close to walking away from the De Jong deal because we don't want to be mugged off and we've changed our transfer approach under Murta compared to Woodward or Judge, or we're trying to act like we're walking away from Frenkie De Jong, linking ourselves to Vitinha, linking ourselves to Ruben Neves. Why would we be doing that? Because we want to scare Barcelona into the fact that we won't pay. We are trying to convince Barcelona that we are not going to pay the money they want for Frenkie De Jong so they lower their price. We want Barcelona to lower that price up by 5 million. Okay, we can try. So we're going to link ourselves to Nevers and VITINHA, and we're going to tell all the British journalists, and this is only coming out from the British journalists who are briefed directly from Man United. We're going to tell all the British journalists to say we can't afford Frenkie De Jong. We don't want the piss taken out of us. We're going to move away from Frenkie De Jong. We're going to take a step away. Barcelona will know how desperate we are. Barcelona know what we're like. We said we took a step away from Bruno. As soon as a link about Barcelona signing Bruno, we went back in and brought him. We took a step away from Sancho, linked ourselves to Ousmane Dembele. As soon as the Sancho rumours started heating up, we went back and brought Jadon Sancho. Either we are walking away from Frenkie De Jong because it's been 5 weeks and no progress, and Ten Hag had enough and said move on. Basuma's gone to Tottenham, missing out other targets. Or the second situation, which seems more like Man United, and what I believe is happening, is that United are trying to convince Barcelona they can't pay the money, and they're looking at other options to see if Barcelona then panic and lower their price, because Barcelona are in desperate need of selling Frenkie De Jong and do need to sell Frenkie De Jong as well. Done deal who? Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest seems to be a done deal as well. If they think De Jong is the answer, just pay for him, stop messing out. You're absolutely spot on. I 100% agree with your comment there. I have to think Frenkie De Jong has taken a lot of convincing from Eric Ten Hag. Not sure he would be so impressed with United's handling of this. Exactly. I think Eric Ten Hag's done his job, as Andrew said. I'm convinced Eric Ten Hag has done his job. Eric Ten Hag's convinced Frenkie De Jong to come to Man United. The hard bit is convincing De Jong to come to Man United because he loves fucking Barcelona. Eric Ten Hag's done the hard bit. He's done his work. He's done his graft. He's convinced Frenkie De Jong to come. Bish, bash, bosh. Big up Eric Ten Hag. Done all the hard work. But Man United can't pay the money. Can't put in a bid. Like, what is going around here? It's absolutely mind-blowing. Ten Hag's done the tough bit. Ten Hag's convinced Frenkie De Jong to come. Now, that is tough because Frenkie De Jong loved Barcelona, and Ten Hag's convinced him to come to us, not City, not Bayern, not PSG, not Step Barcelona. Eric Ten Hag convinced De Jong to come. De Jong is now open to joining Man United. Man United are faffing about with this. Man United are faffing about with De Jong because they want to save £5 million. If he is Ten Hag's first choice target, if this is a once-in-a-million lifetime chance to sign Frenkie De Jong, because if Barcelona didn't have that financial situation, or if we didn't have Eric Ten Hag, we wouldn't be getting De Jong. We cannot afford to be messing around on a Frenkie De Jong deal when he's the number one priority target, when it's a midfielder, when all the other players are slowly going, when all our rival clubs are doing transfer business. We've been working on De Jong for 5 weeks. It's getting embarrassing. Pay the money. Stop faffing around, delaying the deal to see if you can save £5 million. We're a football club, but as Ragnick said, United prioritise commercial success over football success. And the Frenkie De Jong situation is us pretending we're interested in Nevers, us pretending we're looking at other options, all to see if Barcelona will lower our price. I don't believe we're walking away from the Frenkie De Jong deal. I don't think United board could face that. Everyone is criticising the United board already for not signing anyone. If we miss out on Frenkie De Jong, shit's going to come their way. And United care about how they look. United don't want to be looked like mugs. United cannot step away from the Frenkie De Jong deal after 5 weeks. They'll look like mugs. So I don't believe that United are going to step away from Frenkie De Jong. I believe that United are going to try and do anything to save £5 million. Guys, we've got 700 people watching, so please do smash that like button. Lucky number 78. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. We're on the road to 40,000 subscribers. We're currently on 38,361 subscribers. So please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm 39 subscribers away from 38.4k. I'm sure there's 39 of you not watching, so do subscribe or at least hit that like button. It costs nothing to subscribe, and I go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, update, and more. So if you don't want to miss out on any of the latest Manchester United news or transfer news, make sure you subscribe. When we sign someone, I'll be live. When we sell someone, I'll be live. If there's any interesting updates, I will be live. I've got Nkunku news to get into, I've got Anta news to get in, and I've got Ericsson news to get into. We spoke about De Jong, we spoke about Timber, we spoke about VITINHA, and we spoke about Dean Henderson, but I've still got lots and lots of news to get into, so do not go anywhere. We know from the very reliable David Ornstein that Manchester United are putting an offer for Christian Ericsson, and I'm going to get right into the Ericsson news right now, which could be our first incoming Ericsson, because obviously he's on a free contract. So it's come out that Manchester United, from Ekram Konar today, that Manchester United have offered 30-year-old Danish midfielder Christian Ericsson a 1-year contract plus the 1-year option to extend. So this has come out from Ekram Konar. Not the best journalist in the world, but David Ornstein has confirmed we have put in an offer for Christian Ericsson. So there's got to be some truth in this. It's also been said by Rob Dawson yesterday that Man United do still remain interested in RB Leipzig striker Christopher Nkunku. No chance of getting Nkunku. I think now Ragnick's gone, it'll be very difficult to get Nkunku. I think he's an option, but I think with Price and Ragnick going, I think that Nkunku to United is very, very slim. You think Messi wanted to go to PSG? Absolutely not. I think Messi had to go to PSG because of Barcelona's financial situation. And I think that's the same with De Jong having to go to Barcelona. The excuses don't convince me. We talked to these players weeks before international. Should have been preparing well before that with our disaster season. You spot on, Andrew. With the disaster season we had, we've been speaking to Timber for 5-6 weeks. We've been speaking to De Jong for 5-6 weeks. We've been speaking to Anthony for 5-6 weeks. 5-6 weeks. We brought no one. And with the season we've just had, we should be buying and looking to get someone in as well. Thank you very much, Leroy Talks Football, for the super chat. Man United players need a smack bum. Man United players need to smack on the bum. They do. They need to pull themselves together for next season. Frankly speaking, how much is Frenkie De Jong? I believe 65 to 68 million, but Barcelona's holding out for a bit more. So Sabitzer for Stow, I think he's a good player. I do rate Sabitzer, but obviously more attacking minded as well. Richard Arnold is tools talking some crap, says Gaz. Big up, Gaz. Honestly, Richard Arnold, we haven't seen the change. You talk about change, we haven't seen it because we're doing exactly what we did under Woodward and Judge in the transfer window. Nothing. Taking ages as well. More chances on Anthony and Cuckoo. You're spot on with that. More chances on Anthony. Man United got no pull. You were shy. We've got the pull. Eric Ten Hag's convinced De Jong to come. The pull's there. We don't have the ability to negotiate transfers and get the deal done. We attracted Jadon Sancho. We failed to get him because the ball wouldn't pay the money. We got him a year later. We attracted Bruno Fernandes. We attracted Varane. We attracted De Jong. We've got the pull, maybe a bit of money as well, but we ain't got the people to do the deal. We lost out on Nunes because we didn't want to pay the money, which I think in the end of the day was the right decision. But at the end of the day, if Ten Hag wanted him, you pay the money for him as well. It's a mad one as well. Murta Midness. That's a good way of putting it. It's gone from Murta Madness last summer to Murta Midness as well. I would absolutely love Nkunku at Man United. I've said this. My dream transfer window, because I don't think we'll get Scamacca, would be Nkunku for attack, De Jong and Sangare for midfield, and Timber and Malacia for defence. That would be my dream transfer window. But unfortunately, if you support Man United, dreams do not come true because we're good at disappointing. I support United, so I'm used to disappointment. So, you know, what can I say? Strangely, with Donny and possibly Garner returning, we still need a defensive sound mid, regardless of a top opportunity of signing De Jong. I absolutely agree. I think Donny's returning and Garner returning will be brilliant. I think we need them to return, but we still need 2 new midfielders because you don't know if Garner's 100% Premier League ready, despite him looking good against Premier League opposition. You just don't. And with Donny, you don't know. I think Donny's better than McTominay. I think when we've seen Donny play, he's been good, but we've not seen Donny play enough to actually know how good he is. And I think Donny will be good, and I think Garner will be good, and I believe they're good players. You know, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. So that's why United do need to step up and look at signing someone else and getting deals done as well. The Premier League fixture list will be announced tomorrow. Well, predict in the chat. Everyone in the chat, predict who you think we're going to get for first fixture back. I see us getting someone like Arsenal. I really do. Rob Dawson has also said that there is an interest in Ajax winger Anthony, and Ten Hag knows him well from their time together in Holland. So now Nunes has gone to Liverpool. It seems our attacking options are between Anthony and Nkunku. Now, I believe right now, United's attacking options are Anthony and Nkunku. I believe our defensive options are Timber and Pau Torres. And I believe our midfield option is solely Frenkie De Jong. And I'm worried that we're going to get 1 attacker, 1 midfielder, and 1 defender. And that is not good enough. We are in a rebuild. We need 5 or 6, 30, 40 million signings. We don't need 3 signings. We need 4 minimum. We need 2 midfielders, an attacker, and a defender minimum. I also think Malacia would be a good 5th signing. And I'm worried that United are going to go Anthony, De Jong, Timber. That's 3 good signings, but you're missing a fullback. You're missing a CDM. And Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders. It's been said by Laurie Whitwell. Tier 1 source, Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders, whether it's Kante, whether it's Edson Alvarez, whether it's Enzo Fernandez, I don't know. But Ten Hag wants 2 midfielders, and that is clear as well. Talking of transfers, Laurie Whitwell's ruled out Calvin Phillips to United. Then talking of transfers out, it seems that Martial's future at United is unclear, and he will remain present for the start of pre-season, but no one knows what lies ahead for Martial's future. It's also come out that Eric Bailly's name has been mentioned by Marseille and Lyon in recent weeks with potential targets with a price between 10 to 12 million euros. He seemed decent. Bailly's a good centre-back. Man United won trophies when Mourinho was playing Bayern, Bayern and Smalling won us trophies. We play Lindelof Maguire because it's silly. But Bailly's a good centre-back, but he's causing problems at United. He's got a poor injury record. You need to sell Bailly. 10 million euros, that's muggy. I think we can get 10 to 15 million pounds for Eric Bailly. I really do. It's also come out that Man United did receive a recent inquiry from a Spanish club about Dalot and informed them they were unprepared to negotiate for Dalot, but would be Wan-Bissaka. People want Dalot and not Wan-Bissaka. We're struggling to sell Wan-Bissaka. It's also been said that James Garner could return to Nottingham Forest on loan or on a permanent basis, say the Telegraph. Now, I'm happy with James Garner returning on loan. I have no issue with James Garner returning to Nottingham Forest on loan, but I think a permanent sale of James Garner would be silly, especially when we're crying out for a midfielder. Big up Leroy Talks Football. Man United player needs grounding. They do. You're absolutely right. We've got 666 people in the chat, guys, so do subscribe, do hit that like button, do click that share button as well. But I think it'd be silly to sell James Garner. I think loan him out, but do not sell him. I think there's a player in there. I think he's better than McTominay. I generally do. People think I have a McTominay agenda. No, I just think McTominay plays shit too many times. I think James Garner's better than him. I do, and call me crazy. Andy Mitten said that United and Barcelona are not close to a Frenkie De Jong deal. And it also said that Eric Ten Hag does not have a place in Ten Hag's squad as well. James Garner was then asked about his Manchester United future. What could his Man United future hold and all of that? And James Garner said, that's the plan. That's what I'd like to do. Go on pre-season and impress. And he wants to impress Ten Hag and hopefully make a mark. I think James Garner will be involved in pre-season. Same with Garnacho, same with Mejbri, because they're the three youth players Ten Hag rates. And I think Ten Hag will highly involve them in pre-season because Ten Hag will want to know and see what they can do. Rashford also spoke about Man United's form in pre-season, and Marcus Rashford said at the beginning of pre-season you want to get your fitness levels up and get back to what it's like playing in the Premier League. Rashford said when a team changes its identity and changes its purpose of football, it'll be quite obvious to see, and I think you'll be able to see it. So Rashford is definitely working hard to get back in the United squad. He's definitely serious about getting back into stalling my words here, getting back in under Eric Ten Hag. And I will say this, we won't be able to sell Rashford. We won't be able to sell Bruno. Now, Rashford and Bruno have been very, very poor this season, but I think a lot of people are writing off Rashford and Bruno, acting like they're useless, acting like they're done, acting like they're damaged goods, sell them. 2 seasons ago, Rashford and Bruno were carrying our squad. At the beginning of Ollie's second place season, they were carrying our squad. You know, Rashford and Bruno were brilliant for us for about a year and a half together and absolutely vital to the squad, and they've just gone, they have been crap, especially Rashford's been more crap than anyone. But let's not write them off. We can't sell them. We've lost Mata, we've lost Cavani, we've lost Lingard. We're losing maybe Martial as well. We've lost Greenwood. We've lost a lot of attackers. You can't get rid of Rashford and Bruno. It's not FIFA. We can't get rid of 10 players and bring 10 new players in. We can get rid of 5, bring 5, and we can't get rid of 10. And there's 5 players that need to go before Rashford and Bruno. But there are good players in Rashford and Bruno, and we've seen it in the past. And I think a lot of United fans are writing them off. Let's see what they can do next season. If we're sitting here in a year's time and Rashford's been just as crap this season as he was last season, you have to let go. If we're sitting here in a year's time and Bruno's been just as crap, you got to let go. But let's not forget how good Rashford and Bruno was for us a few seasons ago. And let's not forget the fact that we can't sell them. 25 million for Wan-Bissaka will be good. We'd be very lucky to get that. I think we'll get 15 million, to be honest. I think we'll get 15 million max, if I'm going to be honest with you. And not crazy at all. Garner's already better than Scott. Scott's never played well against Arsenal, Leicester, or Liverpool. Exactly. Scott McTominay has never played well against a good team. He only looks good against Leeds or when Southampton had 10 men as well because they lost a midfielder. Garner's got 1 year on his contract. Garner and Garnacho, we need to look at renewing those contracts. So the Man United players that Eric Ten Hag wants to work with and wants to work closely with are obviously Garner, Garnacho, and Mejbri, and they're the ones that Eric Ten Hag wants to keep an eye out for. Guys, we're only 12 subscribers away from 38,400. We're on 38,388 subscribers. We're 12 subscribers away from hitting 38.4k. So I will say, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe down below. It would be really greatly appreciated to see if we can hit that target of 38.4k before the end of the live stream. It would be absolutely brilliant. And of course, smash that like button on the way out. Let me know in the chat, who would you like to see at Man United? Timber to United done or not? Not at all. The first done deal, it seems to be Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest. Not even an in, it's an out. Brandon Williams has been reported to not be in the plans, and that, you know, because we're looking at Malacia, but I can't tell you what's going to happen with Brandon Williams, but I don't think he will be involved next season. I think it will be a loan or permanent move for Brandon Williams as well. Fabian Ruiz could be a good De Jong alternative, but not really been linked to him. I'm okay if we don't buy Malacia, provided Alvaro Fernandez got properly integrated into the first team. Alvaro Fernandez is the 4th player. Sorry, there's 4 players from the youth setup Ten Hag wants to involve next season and watch on pre-season. That's Alvaro Fernandez, Garnacho, Mejbri, and Garner. And I agree. I think there's, under 23's player of the season. There's a good player in Alvaro Fernandez, and Ten Hag is the man to get the best out of him as well. So we'll have to wait and see. What's been said? I can't see this chat. Yes, we can get 10 players, but we need to use free agents. Unfortunately, United fans are with mob mentality. They want 30-year-old, but not a 28. I mean, we can get 10 players with free agents, but realistically, can the sport get 10 players, Matthew or Mateus? Because they can't get one player in after 5 weeks. If we were run like Man City, we could get 10 players in and 10 players out. But being realistic, unfortunately, United can't. Dalot, Bissaka, Martial, Bayern, Fred will get us 80 million. Yeah, but I wouldn't sell Fred or Dalot, to be honest, as well. Pau Torres is an interesting one. We're interested in Pau Torres. I think we will get Pau Torres if we can't get Timber, but both Timber and Pau Torres, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, would like to join Man United. Garner's still got 3 years. I've heard that Garner got a year left on his contract, but I don't know if we did extend it or not. Alice, don't forget we've got Amad Diallo and Pellistri that could get a chance on the right wing. You're absolutely right there, Ross. I'm a big fan of Amad Diallo and a big fan of Pellistri. I think they're really, really good. And I've always said this. I'm okay if we don't get Anthony because I actually do rate these wingers coming through. For me, it's De Jong, a Matic replacement, and Timber. It goes De Jong, Matic replacement, and Timber are my 3 priorities. And then whatever budget you have left, you go for an attacker, and maybe you go for someone like Malacia. And then you focus on getting those deadwood players out that cause dressing room issues. But I'm not super fussed about Anthony because I do rate Amad Diallo, I do rate Pellistri. And we spent a lot of money on so many right wingers just to spend more money on another right winger. It's a bit annoying. I think, you know what? If we're going to spend money again, spend it on a CDM. 2 summers ago, we spent 90 million on De Jong, Amad and Pellistri for all of them to be on loan 2 years later. A year and a half after we brought Amad, Pellistri and De Jong for £90 million we spent on the 3 of them, they all went on loan. When we could have brought a CDM 2 years earlier that summer, we could have got Rodri for less. Rodri, look how good he is for Man City. We could have gone for him. And that's because United silly and neglected the CDM position. And we've buying another right winger. It's like we've brought, 5 right wingers and not a CDM. United seems to go for attackers because they sell more shirts. And for me, I would happily sacrifice Anthony if it meant we got 2 midfielders because I will 100% stick by that. I think 2 midfielders is an absolute must and an absolute priority for Manchester United in the transfer window as well. We must take every opportunity to rebuild. I agree. What's happening with Ericsson? We've made an offer for Ericsson, but that's about all. There might be updates on Ericsson. He's a free agent. It's not like we have to discuss a price. I think it's Ericsson would have to choose if he wants to go to United or not. And will he choose us, mate? Will he not? He was not a guaranteed start, so he might not. I'd honestly put Sancho back on the right. He's not going to get so many goals and is more creative. I think with Ronaldo in the middle, Sancho could benefit more on the right because you've got a finisher. I'd like to see Sancho have opportunities on the right and the left and mix it up as well. Van der Beek will be like a new signing. Renato Sanchez is available. Haven't seen him play much recently, but I think he'll be an upgrade on our current midfield as well. He does seem like a good player as well. Put Sancho up for sale. You obviously don't support United. He's been one of our better players this season, and it's a poor flop season for him as well. I like Sancho as well. I think he's one of our best players. Rice, 72 million on the transfer market, too overpriced. We'd have to pay 150 million for Rice. 100 million minimum to get Declan Rice. I think 120 million gets you Declan Rice. And that is if Grealish, the thing is, if Grealish is 100 million, you go, well, so is Declan Rice. Harry Kane's 200 million if Grealish is 100 million. And that's what a lot of clubs are doing. When Man City are paying 100 million for Jack Grealish, who is a good player, then West Ham are going to go, well, if Grealish is 100 million, Declan Rice is a bigger asset to us than Grealish was to Villa. They might think in their head, even though they're about the same, they'll be like 120 million. And that's the problem with the English market is our players are so overpriced because every team has more money. We are the richest league. We'll spend more than any other league in the summer. And it's an absolute shame, but the English market is crazy. And that's why I was a big fan of looking abroad because, so many players are so overpriced, especially in the English market. Like, I love Declan Rice. And if Man United had, finished 1 point behind Man City last season and won an FA Cup, I'd just be saying, let's spend all our money on Declan Rice. We just need a CDM. But we need a whole new squad. We need a centre-back, we need a full-back, we need 2 midfielders, and we need an attacker, at least. So, as much as I like Declan Rice, I wouldn't spend more than 60 million on him. I wouldn't spend more than 60 million on a defensive midfielder this summer. We won't get Rice. You're absolutely spot on. There's no chance of us getting Rice. I'd love him playing for us, but we can't get 85 million over the line. Never mind 100 to 150. Exactly, spot on. And decent replacement for Henderson are Manigan from AC Milan or Robert Sanchez from Brighton. I'm a big fan of Sanchez from Brighton. I actually think he could be a long-term De Gea replacement. I really do. If Frenkie De Jong falls apart, Fabian Ruiz is the next best alternative where age and ability, some others mentioned, nowhere near. I agree. If Frenkie De Jong falls apart and we go for VITINHA, it is a massive downgrade. Because Frenkie De Jong is levels above what we already have. Frenkie De Jong is one of the best midfielders out there. He is levels above what we currently have. And VITINHA is a decent midfielder, but he wasn't that great at Wolves. He's a Wolves reject. He was an okay player. If we lose out on Frenkie De Jong, you've got to go for someone like Fabian Ruiz of the same caliber. That's what I think. Even the Glazers think United can be ripped off. I mean, the Glazers are the one ripping us off, let's be honest. Nico Williams, no. We only have 2 million to spend. It feels like that with the way we're acting. Heaton's actually a fairly good keeper. Don't think we need a number 2 signing. I agree. I'm not that fast. At the end of the day, De Gea's not going to get injured. So, yeah. Sancho, a non-playing player, is your best player. It shows how far you've fallen. It just shows how crap we've been this season. Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane, De Gea, and Fred are the only 5 players that didn't have embarrassing seasons. And Sancho gets let off a bit because it's a new league. 3 of them are signings, and the only 2 of them are Fred and De Gea that had decent seasons. Bruno's had decent moments, and I still have my faith in Bruno. But no one else at Man United had a good season. Dalot had an improvement season, was playing more. Anyone else? No one really. No one. Anthony for 35 million would be good. I think he'd be more like 50 million because it'll be difficult for Ajax to replace him. I think we do have a higher budget, but if we can't spend everything on De Jong and 100 million euros on Nunes, United's budget is 120 million net spend. And okay, well, De Jong would be 68 million of that, but you can still get De Jong, Timber, and Sangare for 120 million net spend, and then you sell all your players. This is what I mean. Our net spend is 120 million. That's what it's been quoted at. You can get De Jong, Timber, and Sangare for 120 million net spend. And then when you sell Wan-Bissaka, you sell Bailly, you sell Dean Henderson, you sell Pereira, you sell Tuanzebe. Once you get the money from all of those deals, well, I think you can raise 50, 60 million, especially if you sell Martial. You then go and buy an attacker. So let's get Sangare, De Jong, and Timber done. Okay, and then once that's done, you sell all your players, and the money you have left, you invest in an attacker. But the money we have left the Glazers want to invest in their pockets, in their dividends, not an attacker. And that is one of the reasons we are very, very far behind a lot of other people. Can play Fred number 9. I wouldn't like to see that. His finishing is awful, although he's been good as an 8. Still think Neves would shine at United, says David Parsons. I like Neves, but I can't see Neves, Bruno, De Jong with Phil working. I don't know how I feel about Neves under Eric Ten Hag. Is he a Ten Hag type of player? Would he complement Bruno? Palhinha, says Mohammed. Palhinha's a good option as well. Palhinha, Lemar, good options. Sangare, Kone, all good options, I agree. De Jong, Anthony, Timber, Lewandowski. That would be a good transfer window, but I still think we need another midfielder on top of that, Osman. As well, when they want 100 mil for De Jong, they can F off. Yeah, if they really do want 100 million for De Jong, then they can F off. Because you know what? You're in a financial situation, Barcelona. You're not at the time where you can be faffing about. Honestly, I think, I don't know why Barcelona can't be playing games. They desperately need that De Jong money. They desperately need that De Jong money, Barcelona. So it's interesting why they'd ask for 100 million. They can't be faffing around. It's an interesting one as well. But please do smash that like button. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, do subscribe. I do a live show at 7 p.m. every single evening on the channel. So make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with all the latest news. We're also 2 subscribers away from 38.4k. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, I'm only 2 subscribers away from 38.4k. So it'd be amazing if someone does click that subscribe button. I do go live every single evening on the channel, keeping you guys up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Sometimes even a bonus video. If there's any breaking news, like the minute we sign someone, the minute we sell someone, I'll be allowed to update you guys. Nothing's happened yet. But the fact that nothing's happened yet means that surely a lot is going to happen soon. Surely the first done deal has to be this week or next week. I don't think we can get to the end of June without a done deal. Surely something has to happen. The first done deal looks like it's going to be Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest. But hopefully the first done deal coming inwards, because the first done deal going outwards nearly done with Dean Henderson. But hopefully the first done deal coming inwards will be Man United signing a player. So do make sure you subscribe, because the minute we know, I will be live. But I am going to end the live stream here. In fact, big up for subscribing to the channel and all of that. So smash a like on the way out, smash a subscribe. We've hit 38.4k, so thank you everyone who did subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. See you then. Bye.